Okay, if I could get everybody to their seats and we can get started. I'm just waiting for the TV cameras to come on and for them to tell me that everything is okay. So hopefully, Michelle? Oh, are you okay? Good, okay. I just got the okay, so it should be fine. Council meeting for May 2nd, 2011 now come to order. Please remember that the times indicating next to agenda items are approximate start times only. Turn off all cell phones for the duration of the meeting. Oh, way ahead of here. Oh, thank you, sir. Will the city clerk please call the roll?
Mayor Natal?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Snyder?
She is actually at the hospital.
Okay. Councilman Moreno?
Here.
Councilman Benson? Councilwoman Carson? Councilwoman Teeter? Here. Councilman Johnson? Councilman McEldowney?
Here.
Councilman Bullock?
Present.
And Councilman Benson?
Here.
Mr. Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Whoops. Did you see that just jump off the table? Councilman Johnson is at an event today, and Councilwoman Carson is still in Florida, having probably a lot more fun than we're having here. So, just so everybody knows, will the audience please rise for a moment of silence and then join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight, if you would remember Tracy Snyder in your prayers, and also this is a very tough time for us now. The fact that we have either found the body or done something to the body of Osama bin Laden doesn't necessarily mean that the war is over. It could actually become much worse. We need to remember our service people and all of those who help defend this wonderful country of ours, both inside our borders and outside our borders. There's not enough I could probably say about this, but if you'll keep all of those in your prayers tonight, and I was kind of hoping that Johnson was here, so he would have said a little prayer.
Mr. Mayor, if we could also just remember the families that perished, the people that perished tonight.
That would be great. I'm going to do something just a little out of the ordinary, and hopefully I'm not going to get beat up. Sir, would you mind coming forward and just saying a small prayer for us? Ordinarily, we would not do this, but I think these are very trying times for our country.
Okay. Well, God, we just come to you and we just ask, Lord, for your help. Know that there's things that have been happening and going on, and there's problems, there's struggles that are things that are way bigger than us. And we just ask, Lord, that you would be with those who have lost their lives in the process of being overseas fighting for our country, or the 9/11 time. And right now we just pray for our nation that you would give wisdom and understanding to make the right decisions, that you'd give the President and Congress and everyone involved, that you would give them special insight and understanding. And we thank you, Lord, for your strength and for your help and for your wisdom, even in Commerce City, that you would give direction and wisdom and insight and foresight and being able to understand the ins and outs and dealing with people and all the things that happen and go on. We look to you, God, for help. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And for those who don't know, that's Reverend Marlon Bender, who has a small piece of land in our city and who does quite a bit of volunteer work in our city. Thank you. I know I called you up just on the spot, but I appreciate that you did this. Would city staff please pass around the mic? Thank you.
Pam Spratler,
Betty Thomas,
Danny Thomas.
Charlene Jarmello,
Lou Jarmello.
Ellen Haug,
Adela Alamo, Jocelyn Hernandez,
Michael Cheney.
Tova Forgo,
Guillermo Serna.
Gene Leffel.
Joy Bishop,
John Howard, Information Technology.
Marlon Bender, pastor of Sanctuary Church.
Charlotte Bender,
Michelle Halstead, Communications Director.
Carolyn Keith, Parks and Recreation,
Patrick Buckley, Building Official.
Brittany Morris, Director of Economic Development,
Phil Baca, Chief of Police.
Thank you very much. Tonight we actually have two proclamations listed on our agenda, but we have a third proclamation. I would look for a motion to add one more proclamation to our agenda. Ms. Teeter?
Yes, move approval to add an additional proclamation to our agenda.
Mr. Bullock?
Second that.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to add a third proclamation to our list tonight. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, the same. Thank you. Motion passes. Okay, the first proclamation is for Building Safety Month. Will the city manager please introduce the city's chief building official to speak to the proclamation?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. I'd like to bring up Patrick Buckley, Chief Building Official for the city.
Thank you very much. Nice to see you, sir.
You too. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor and council, for the time tonight. I'll be very brief as you have important business to attend to this evening. I wanted to share with you some quick facts. May is Building Safety Month. First observed in 1980 as Building Safety Week, Building Safety Month is a program of the International Code Council Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit with the mission to promote public awareness of ideas, methods, and technologies that encourage the construction of safe, durable, and sustainable buildings and homes, reducing the devastating effects of building damages due to natural disasters and other tragedies through consumer education, professional development, and community service. The International Code Council Foundation is a subsidiary of the International Code Council, the organization that develops and the most widely used building codes in the country, including the codes used in Colorado and Commerce City. This is the first year that Commerce City has formally recognized Building Safety Month. I sincerely appreciate the Council's time for supporting the Building Safety Division in this effort. Building Safety Month is divided into 4 focused areas for 2011. Week 1, energy and green building. Week 2, disaster safety and mitigation. The disaster in Japan and more recently the severe damage caused in several southern states by tornadoes has shined a spotlight on the critical importance of adhering to stringent building codes. Week 3, fire safety and awareness. Week 4, backyard safety. In this first year of promoting Building Safety Month, it is the desire of the Building Safety Division to raise the community's awareness of the importance of enforcement of building codes and the value of what we do every day. We hope to expand on that theme in coming years. You should know that you have an engaged and hardworking staff dedicated to serving its customers while striving to reach out to contractors, design professionals, and the community about the importance of enforcement of building codes. In this room alone, there are about 15 code-required systems in place to protect the life safety of occupants. Most people are completely unaware of these and don't think about these types of systems until there is a problem. You shouldn't have to think about them. We do. The Building Safety Division's goal is to provide exceptional customer service and to be transparent in the delivery of services to the public. While we are often seen as regulators, we are facilitators first and foremost, extending every effort to assist all city customers in successfully navigating the city's regulatory processes, doing our part in making their project a success. It's often difficult to promote ourselves and the value of what we do because when we do our job, nothing happens. And that's the way we like it. Building Safety Month is a good way to get the word out. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I'm going to recommend that the following proclamation be approved by the City Council and that I'm going to read now. Whereas May is recognized as Building Safety Month, sponsored by the International Code Council Foundation, and whereas building codes affect everyone who enters the structure to live, work, play, attend school, worship, and shop, and whereas the observance is in its 31st year, focusing on raising awareness to alleviate the devastating effects of natural disasters and other building tragedies through consumer education, professional development, and community services. And whereas Commerce City's Building Division is responsible for enforcing the terms and codes established by the International Code Council, issuing 4,750 permits last year, and whereas the division seeks to educate citizens on the importance of ensuring safe building, structural, plumbing, electrical, and mechanical systems, as well as the need for permitting home remodeling activities, and whereas Commerce City hopes to raise awareness of how the division's activities benefit and support residents, including partnering with local businesses to promote the Weekend Warrior program, which offers a streamlined permit process every Friday for last-minute weekend home improvement projects. Now, therefore, on behalf of City Council, I hereby proclaim the month of May Building Safety Month, acknowledging the role the Building Division, terms, and codes play in ensuring a quality community for a lifetime. I would welcome a motion. Mr. McEldowney.
Mr. Mayor, would move to approve the proclamation recognizing Building Safety Month.
Ms. Teeter.
Second the motion?
I have a motion and a second to approve the proclamation. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Motion passes. Mr. Flannery, who would you like to receive this?
We can take it and bring it back to our community development.
Thank you very much. Okay, the second proclamation is National Day of Prayer, and I would recommend that the following proclamation be approved by the City Council as I read it now. Whereas a National Day of Prayer was first proclaimed by the Continental Congress in 1775 and the current United States Congress by Public Law 100-307 has called on our citizens to recognize an annual day of prayer. And whereas in the address to the Constitutional Convention in 1787, Benjamin Franklin proposed that prayers be held in this assembly every morning before proceeding with business. And whereas the clergy, religious groups, and congregations in Commerce City play a vital role in instilling values, promoting the common goals of the community, and providing programs and services. And whereas we are all concerned about the people of our community and wish to focus on providing a safe city that promotes the interests of the people in the best possible way. Now, therefore, on behalf of City Council, I hereby proclaim Thursday, May 5th, 2011, as a citywide day of prayer. Be it further resolved that Commerce City encourages every citizen to pray, each in his or her own manner, seeking strength to face the challenges of today, requesting guidance for the uncertainties of tomorrow, and giving thanks for the rich blessings that we enjoy. Ms. Teeter, a motion?
Yes, move approval of National Day of Prayer proclamation.
Mr. Bullock?
Second that motion.
I have a motion and a second to approve the proclamation. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. The motion passes. I would just to council, hopefully you all got the invite for the North Metro Day of Prayer breakfast on Thursday, May 5th, 7 o'clock at Omni Interlochen Resort in Broomfield. If any of you are planning on going, we'll need to get something back to Lynn right away so that we can get something back to Marlon so he will know. Is there anyone sitting up here now who knows that they will be going? Mr. Bullock? Okay. If any of the others can, it would be very nice. If Reverend Bender would come down, I'll... Thank you. Okay, our third proclamation, I would hope that the City Council will also approve. I'm going to read it now. Whereas the Office of the Municipal Clerk is a time-honored part of local governments worldwide, providing the professional link between citizens, local governing bodies, and agencies of government at other levels, and whereas municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all, and continuing to strive to improve the administration of their office through participation in education programs, seminars, and professional organizations. And whereas the City Clerk's Office of Commerce City embodies these beliefs by implementing best practices to streamline elections, accurately records meeting proceedings, provides additional resident services, and actively participates in the Colorado Municipal Clerks Association. And whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize these accomplishments. Now, therefore, on behalf of City Council, I hereby proclaim the week of May 1st through 7, 2011, as Municipal Clerks Week, thanking the City Clerk's Office for the vital services they perform. Be it further resolved that Commerce City recognize City Clerk Laura Bauer for her service and dedication, not only to the city, but to local governments throughout the state as president of the Colorado Municipal Clerks Association. Mr. Marino?
Move approval of the proclamation.
Mr. Bullock?
Second that.
I have a motion and a second to approve the proclamation. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. We can't thank you enough.
If I may, I couldn't do this job without the wonderful support staff that I have. With me tonight is Deputy City Clerk Cheryl Scott. She's been with us a very short time, but has really been doing a fantastic job. Also, part of my team is Administrative Assistant Lindsay Willett, who is not here tonight. She's been a wonderful addition to the City Clerk staff, and we are very proud to serve this community. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Just take 1 second. My computer decided it wanted to go to sleep. It's what happens when you don't have hard copies. Yeah, I got it now. Thank you, though. Okay, the next item on the agenda is citizen communication. There were 2 public comment rosters made available. One of them was for non-agenda items. And when I call your name, would you please come forward, state your name and address for the record. You're reminded that each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. City Council is reminded that they are not to engage in discussion or debate, but may ask clarifying questions and express concern when appropriate. City Manager will generally assign staff members to get the necessary information to solve any issues. There's 3 people on the list tonight. The first one is Charlotte Bender. Good evening.
My name is Charlotte Bender, and I'm from His Sanctuary Church. I'm at 6300 East 88th, and we own the land out in Bell Creek. I'm just here to give you just a little update on what's happening this summer. We started a pilot program in conjunction with Save Our Youth, which is a mentoring organization in Denver. A few years ago, it was in the Commerce City Beacon. We began a partnership with them, a mentoring partnership, to bring their program into Commerce City to help at-risk teenagers. Well, we stumbled across a program a few years ago, and it has been our desire to bring that into Commerce City. And that is an education program that helps students get up to grade level in a summer. Last summer, we had a pilot program. We had 9 students, and we concentrated on math and English. And in 6 weeks, the minimum growth that we observed and documented was 3 grade levels in math and English. And it's been an amazing program. This program has also been replicated in Aurora. It's in DPS. It's now in a pocket in Littleton where there's a high concentration of at-risk youth. And the partnership between Save Our Youth with the mentoring and the educational program that we have in place is just outstanding. This summer we're doing another one. We're extending it instead of 6 weeks to 8 weeks, and we're almost doubling our size. It costs us a considerable amount of money to do it in the sense that it's not in comparison to what it takes us to educate a child, but it costs us about $1,000 a student in order for us to implement the program, get the software and all of that. And so we're doing our second program, our pilot, and our hopes are that we could possibly partner with Adams City and bring our program alongside the school here in Commerce City that's in great need, and they're looking for help. We are not wanting to form another school. We're wanting to help the schools that are in existence. And so I just wanted to highlight that. And if you guys have any money laying around, we'll take it. So thank you very much for your time.
Okay. And Mr. Flannery, if you would get whatever information you might need that in case the city and the school district can somehow get together on this program. And Ms. Bender, please, you have my name and phone number. I would be very much interested in volunteering for whatever you may need. Just let me know. You know how to get a hold of me. Thank you very much. Next person is Jocelyn Hernandez. Good evening.
Hello, I'm an Adams City High School student, and I was nominated by one of my middle school teachers to go to a people-to-people trip where I will be studying in Europe for 3 weeks. In order to go on this trip, I was able to beat out other students across Colorado after I had recommendation letters sent and after I had an interview, and I was able to make it. Now, in order to go for the trip, I had to raise $7,000, and the due date is in 1 week, and I have $1,000 left to raise. So I have put in $6,000 that I have raised. The One Community Board helped me with $500, and I've had help from the Commerce City Police Station. They've helped me with $1,000, and I've gone to everybody, and I want to know if there was any way that the City Council could help me.
Okay. Personally, we could each do that, and hopefully people who are watching on the screen will do that. What it would take, though, is there'd have to be some way to get in touch with you. Is that something you would be willing to do?
Because I came and spoke here 2 weeks ago,
Okay.
and I gave the board members that were here a copy where it had my name, my email, and my cell phone number.
Okay. If I can give you this.
Can you just give us your cell phone number again?
And her name and address.
And name and address.
We can do that separately because of issues with the television and minor.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And if you would also give him an address where he can get a hold of you.
All right.
Okay.
Do you want me to put my cell phone number?
Well, not real comfortable.
We, last time around, we made it available that you can donate to this young lady through the city. If you would like to submit a check to the city, we would make sure that she gets that, and if you put it in her name, we make sure that that happens.
Okay, that's probably the best, yeah. So anybody who is out there now, if you are interested, get a hold of somebody here at the city and we'll get the money to her.
You can contact my office.
Okay, city manager's office, and her name is Jocelyn Hernandez. You have a couple of cards now. If you email me an address, I'll have a return. Mr. Marino.
Jocelyn, how do you spell your first name?
Jocelyn.
I think between the number of people that may be watching now and this council, we'll make the rest of that. We'll figure out a way to get you there.
Jocelyn, it just so happens that I have my checkbook with me tonight because I owe other people money, so now you only need 900, so.
Thank you very much for coming. And I would hope, or I would ask, when you get back, if you would just come talk to us about what you learned while you were there. Just something real easy. I mean, nothing real fancy, but just come down. We only give you 3 minutes anyway, so you're not going to get a lot of time.
Well, when I come back, I already know that I will personally give my thanks to everybody that has helped me through this.
Okay.
Everybody. So if I could get your name and everything, I could bring you postcards from over there. Because I have a big list of people I have to bring souvenirs for now.
And you know what? I've been there. Don't be writing any postcards to us. Spend the time learning and doing. You'll have much more fun, at least for me. Okay? Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next person on the list, Jean LaFell.
Gene Leffel, 6530 Brighton Boulevard in the Garden Terrace subdivision of Commerce City, Colorado, established in 1922. I wanted to remind everybody that this Saturday there's going to be an important event, and that's the Adams County Household Chemical Roundup. This is your opportunity to properly dispose of things you may have around your house, motor oil, antifreeze, maybe your stale lawnmower gas from last year you don't want anymore, household chemicals, cleaners that perhaps you don't like or are out of date, other things that you would have around, tires. Also, we take electronics. We would like to have as much of that disposed of properly as opposed to throwing it in your trash can or dumping it out in the alley or just having it disintegrate in your basement or something like that. And that's this Saturday, May 7th. It'll be at Waterworld, 1800 West 89th Avenue. You'll see gobs of signs up there directing you on how to get in if you should happen to come up by that way. And there is a registration fee or a donation asked for people bringing that up. That's due to the increasing cost of doing these. Most of the people doing these are volunteers. I personally have volunteered for 12 years with this program. There's also a charge for tires and electronics, although certain electronics we are accepting for free, and I don't really have the exact information on that. If you'd like to contact the health department in regards to this matter, it's 720-200-1556 and ask for Lynn, or you can go on to the computer, www.tchd.org, and you'll have to do a little searching around there, far beyond my abilities, and you can get to their site and there's more description, or you could contact me personally and I'll do the best to give you the most up-to-date information I have available.
Okay.
If you have any questions, just let me know.
Gene, if you can just remind us of the hours. What time does that start?
Generally speaking, that starts from 9 till 3. My recommendation, if I may, is unless you want to wait in line first thing in the morning, you'd probably be better off to come around 10. And whatever you do, don't get there at 3 o'clock, because after we have sat out there and baked in the sun or whatever weather it is, we're ready to go home at 3 o'clock. So it's 9 to 3, but I would recommend getting somewhere in the middle of that. there's always a big line in the morning, and then you've always got a big line of these last-minute guys that I don't know what their problem is. You don't want to be in either of those lines, so come during the middle part of the day, please.
Thanks, Gene.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for your whole group that does all this recycling. It's where we need to be. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Mr. Gaylor, presently on my agenda on my computer says approval of minutes, though there aren't any minutes to approve. And on my other list, it is not listed at all. Okay. So just so everyone knows that there are no minutes to be approved tonight. Okay. The next item is the consent agenda, and there's 3 items on the consent agenda this evening. Council is reminded that these items can be removed for discussion purposes at the request of any council member. Does anyone wish to remove any item from the consent agenda? No? Okay. If not, I'm open to a motion to approve the consent agenda. Mr. McEldowney?
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Ms. Teeter?
Second the motion?
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Will the city attorney please read the titles?
Title of Ordinance Z 895-11, an ordinance approving the PUD zone document attached hereto as Exhibit A and made a part hereof which rezones the property described therein, which is located at 6120 East 58th Avenue, Commerce City, Colorado, from I-1 to PUD Zone District, and amending the zoning map of the City of Commerce City, Colorado to reflect said rezoning. Title of Ordinance 1856 reads, an ordinance amending the 2011 budget of the City of Commerce City, Colorado by the recognition of the Colorado Department of Transportation grant in the amount of $6,000 for the police seatbelt enforcement of the Click It or Ticket program and authorization of the expenditure thereof. Title of Ordinance 1857 reads, an ordinance amending the 2011 budget of the City of Commerce City, Colorado by the recognition of the Governor's Energy Office Special Event Grant in the amount of $500 to purchase tree seedlings and printed material promoting effective water usage and the authorization of the expenditure thereof. That's a consent agenda.
Okay, a motion and a second. City attorney has read the title. Request a roll call vote, please. Oh, are you looking at that? Oh. Vote is 6 yeses. Consent agenda is passed. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is administrative council business. Again, this is not reports. This is for some action that you wish the council to take. Are there anybody with administrative business today? Mr. Marino.
I'll rely on my fellow review committee members to help me out.
He hit his button just seconds after you.
Just wanted to, the review subcommittee briefly met before the council meeting and discussed the possibility of having a mini retreat in June. There are some pressing fiscal issues that are facing the city, and if we want to perhaps look at some funding alternatives, which includes some ballot proposals, that the June would be probably the best time to do it. We were looking at the week before CML, but wanted to put that out there and see. I'm sure Mr. McEldowney has things to add as well.
Mr. McEldowney, you want to go to you?
Sure, just to pick up, and thanks, Mr. Marino. As folks will recall from our retreat, one of the things that we talked about was developing a more formal calendar or progression of planning events through the year that built on our retreat, followed by the staff retreat. This year we have the unique milestones of our financial plan that's taking shape and will help feed into some of the planning discussion that we had at our retreat. To Mr. Marino's point, timing obviously is always a challenge, but we looked at that week prior to CML and really have 2 options that week that we'd like to get feedback on. One would be clearing our Monday night agenda to focus solely on retreat discussion, planning discussion, but start that session earlier, potentially 3 o'clock, to allow for sufficient time for discussion. The alternative would be to do something similar to that, the approach that we took for our retreat, which would be to do a Friday and do a full day on that Friday. And I know that was a challenge for Ms. Teeter previously. I'm not sure if that week would be the same, but wanted to put those two alternatives out there for the folks that are here tonight to get feedback so that we can get something on the calendar sooner than later.
Looking at our agenda coming up, 13th, the only thing we're missing that we would have to move is a grant recognition, so that doesn't seem very tough.
Right. We can obviously.
I am going to be gone from the 16th to the 27th of June, so 13th works for me, and especially if it just comes in place of a meeting.
I would rather have it on.
Okay. Yeah. Mr. Bullock, do we just want to go down the line?
I'm open to whichever the rest of the council is open to.
Okay. Mr. McEldowney, do you have some preference?
No, not at all. Just want to make clear, are we comfortable with an earlier start that night to accommodate the time needed? Okay.
That would be fine. Ms. Teeter?
Yes, meeting that Monday early at 3.
Great.
Okay. Mr. Benson?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Marino?
Just want to say appreciate the feedback and looking forward to it.
Okay. Mr. Flannery, you will handle whatever we need to know or do?
Absolutely, and thank you for that. You'll see in the next few weeks a number of things that we'll lay out from presentations leading up to that meeting, so it works out very well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. No other? I have a couple of things that I would like to bring up. One of them is we've had a request from Canopy Parking, which is our new parking facility at Tower and north of Pena, wherever that is. They would like to have a tour for staff and council at our time and convenience.
That'll be great.
Mr. Flannery, if that's okay with council, to set that up as something and maybe put out a couple of probable dates and times.
Sure.
And we could see what'll fit with most of us. I took that tour in the very beginning before they actually opened, and actually on all the trips I've had out of town recently, that's where I've stayed, and that's been really nice, especially when you can upgrade if you have a Frontier card or a E470 sticker or all kinds of different things. You can get covered parking for the price of the outdoor stuff, which is really nice. $9, can't beat that. The next thing is a little, I'm not sure how to approach it, and so I'm just going to put it out there. This weekend, I had to rely extremely heavy on Mayor Pro Tem Snyder to go to more than a couple of events that ordinarily I would have been the one to go to. I'm feeling real guilty today because she wound up in the emergency room today because I think she pushed just a little bit too hard. The challenge is, right now, we have as a council relegated most of the outside meetings and events to the mayor. The mayor and 3 or 4 other council members will be gone in November. The challenge has been that I will ordinarily show up at all the events we're supposed to show up at. And if I don't, Mayor Pro Tem will fill in for me. But Ms. Teeter and Mr. Marino seem to be the ones who will show up at other times. What I'm requesting and what made it administrative business is I would really like to see some of the council members who will be here after November to sit down and come up with a small plan for attending these events so that we have representation. I know that in the past people have said they're extremely busy and some of these are seen as fluff, but my feeling is the cooperation between some of the 5013Cs and the different elected positions throughout our organization and different economic developments are extremely important. During the last 4 years, this city has become so involved outside of our borders. If the next council decides that they no longer want to do that, well, that is their call. But I think we have made great inroads in the past 4 years as to being out there and people knowing who to contact and knowing that Commerce City's in the middle of everything. We're in the middle of health and wellness. We're in the middle of economic development. We're in the middle of everything, which has never really been the case before. I think the reason I'm bringing this up is you have no idea how guilty I am feeling because I really abused Mayor Pro Tem Snyder this weekend. I'm used to being out at 7:30 in the morning and not getting home till 9 o'clock and doing 2 or 3 events every single day. It came with the territory. But knowing that there are only 20 meetings left and 6 months, unless the council's going to drop all of this stuff, we're going to need to have some kind of a plan for when events come up that somebody goes. It doesn't have to be everybody, but at least having some representation. It's extremely hard for me to go to Adams County ED, going to some of the breakfasts that our other cities go to. As a for instance, we just had one in Bennett, and we were the only city there that only had one or a couple of staff and one council person. And I'm just looking for someone who will be here longer to maybe sit down and say, there's got to be a way to do this so that people will have some representation at all of these events. It's extremely important. And, you know, I'm just getting tired, and I think that's why I'm speaking out about it now. And I'm really feeling guilty about Tracy. Mr. McEldowney.
I guess my comments are this. And you made the point yourself. The role goes with these responsibilities. That said, I've not once heard of or seen an email as of late eliciting support for meetings that there's going to be a difficulty in supporting. I think the solution is rather simple. If folks are aware of the meetings and the obligations that need to be attended by somebody from council, you broadcast that need and you get somebody to volunteer and you get them to cover. The reality is that this is paid only in spirit for the most part. The financial compensation does not allow most of us to do it with our day job. So those of us that do have a day job do need to be mindful of the level of competition that we pit between council and our primary means of income. So things like breakfasts, et cetera, do become a discretionary item. I think the same can be said for all of us. Most of us carry a significant number of board and committee and other external responsibilities, not unlike yourself. And I understand that there are an additional list that go along with the title of mayor. The 27J State of the District was last week, and I was the only member there. So, I mean, it's not unique to you, sir. I think it's a matter of communicating out that there is a need for support or backup, and I think somebody of the 9 can ante in.
Okay, I've had my piece. I won't bring it up again. I have 20 meetings left. You all do what you need to. Thank you. The last piece is each got a copy of a 10-year plan to end homelessness in Adams County. This was a request that came in from this group looking for some type of support. Ordinarily, this would go to our community grant program. It is off cycle. It came to me, but I had no idea what to do with it. So you each have a copy of it. If you have any suggestions, if you would get a hold of Mr. Flannery with any suggestions that you may have. I know these come up every now and then, but it's something that the council will need to say. It won't be for now as much as for getting back to Mr. Flannery if you see any way that we can either help or do something with that. Okay, next item is legislative update and reports. Mr. Gaylor.
No report from me either tonight.
That's legislative.
Oh, legislative? Okay.
I do have a report.
Gotcha. Mr. Flannery.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A couple of things on the ED front. Ms. Morris and I had lunch today with Dwayne Romero, the new Economic Development State Director, and his Deputy Director, Alice Kotrick. And we discussed the economic development policies that Governor Hickenlooper is going around the state with, and some of our specific programs that we've been promoting in the city. So it was a very positive discussion, and I think there was a good exchange and a good relationship established. And actually, I think we gave them a couple of good ideas that they might bring back to the organization. Secondly, I wanted to mention that it was mentioned that the ACED lunch was held last week, the awards luncheon, and I wanted to make sure that everybody was aware that Cummins won the Capital Investment Award at the ACED lunch, and we're just glad to have them in the city. That's it. Oh, one more, I'm sorry. I wanted Mr. Aker to report on the I-70 meetings that are coming up this week.
Excellent, thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and members of City Council. Just wanted to alert everyone on council and those listening that the I-70 East Environmental Impact Statement PACT, or the Preferred Alternative Collaborative Team, is hosting a couple of public input meetings this week. The first one is on Wednesday, May 4th from 5:30 to 8:30. It's at the Commerce City Recreation Center. And the second meeting will be from 10 a.m. to 12:30 on Saturday, May 7th at the Swansea Recreation Center. The PACT is leaning towards keeping I-70 on alignment. What they're wanting to gain out of these public input is, should it be north or south? Not really looking for a re-evaluation of on alignment versus off alignment. We're just looking at some north versus south issues. So we will come back at a later date with a more full update on how that process is moving. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Flannery, anything else?
Just encourage everybody out there to attend those meetings.
Terrific, thank you. Mr. Marino.
Just wanted to offer my congratulations to Councilman Bullock and your star performance at the awards dinner, the Time to Time Historical Society Awards dinner. I had a very good time, and mostly thanks to you. And just wanted to report that Saturday, Rebuilding Together was doing a project in Ward 1, doing some improvements to the home of Norm and Jean Puriel, who are two constituents. And I got to go down there and volunteer my time and help them with some of the improvements that they were making to their house, like putting in a ramp so Norm could have a bit greater access to mobility, and retiling the kitchen floor, and just it was great to be able to do that and to volunteer my time doing that. After a few hours, though, they pretty much asked me to leave because I'm so accident prone that I cut myself all over my hands and was bleeding everywhere. So this is why I don't do home improvement projects. But I did enjoy the time there, and just wanted to offer my congratulations to Norm and Jean. I think that it's great work that Rebuilding Together does, and I'm glad that they were able to benefit from it.
Thank you. It's one of my favorite groups myself. Mr. Benson.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Aker, could you help me put something up on the... Okay. This is what I forgot last week.
I have no idea.
Yeah, these are presentations called Tunnel Vision that were made both to the State Transportation Advisory Committee and to Dr. Cog. Regarding the tunnels on I-70,
need blank to kind of calibrate? Does it need a blank spot to calibrate?
Yeah, while you're doing that, why don't we go through? Ms. Teeter?
Yes, I have a couple things. I attended the State of the City last Tuesday morning, had a breakfast there, well attended, and it went very well. And good speech to you, Mr. Mayor. And also, I attended the Adams County Economic Development Awards Luncheon, which Cummins Motor did receive that award. Thank you.
Are you ready, Mr. Benson?
I think so. These are 6 or 7 different proposals about what's going to happen to the tunnels that are just east of Idaho Springs on I-70. This is the first proposal. As you can see, the tunnels would be almost doubled in size up there at the top. The proposal number 2 would, I guess, leave one tunnel without any modification, and the other tunnel would be, this is looking to the east. So the eastbound tunnel would be hugely modified, and I guess it's all because of the ski area traffic coming back on Sunday, and the eastbound lanes just really get bottled up, and so that's the whole purpose. And of course, there's no money for any of these projects right now, but they're just planning for the future. And there's another one showing another form of a modification. I guess there's a portion in there where there's a 45-mile-an-hour speed limit. They're going to try to straighten that out to make it 55. This is another proposal, a concept package 4, that'll have the huge modification to the eastbound lane. Number 5 would leave the tunnels the same size, but they would have a little a viaduct over here. That would be on the south side of the 2 tunnels. It would be just go around them. That's the eastbound lane. And number 6 would have a similar configuration with the viaduct over here. Again, this is looking to the east. And then number 7 would cause an entirely new, bigger tunnel to be built here and leave the existing tunnels their same size. Now, the favorite of CDOT would be concept package number 2. That's a I'll be darned if I can read this, but I believe it's about a $55 million expenditure, and I'll show you a little bit more about that would be 2, where you would hugely increase the size of the eastbound tunnel. That's a $55 million project. That's the least expensive one, and I guess in this day and age, maybe going with the least expensive one is the better thing to do. And this is something that I forgot last week.
Councilman Benson?
I do have some more.
How many more lanes of traffic could fit if they expand the tunnel?
If there's any expansion of any of the tunnels, it would be at least 3 lanes on each side, or maybe 2 lanes with a shoulder, because right now there's no shoulder. If an emergency vehicle has to get in there, it can't do it. But I would say at least 3 lanes on each side. Now, if the tunnels are made huge, then there would be even more lanes. And of course, if you had the viaduct, there would be 2 lanes on the viaduct, as I understand it.
Thank
These
you.
are all, but they're all expanding the eastbound lanes, because I guess they figure if you're going westbound, if you're going skiing, you're getting up there at various times of the day, but when you're coming back going eastbound, everybody's leaving at the same time.
Sure.
So it's just a huge traffic. I would hope that they could get some contribution out of the ski industry for doing this, but who knows? This is 10 or 15 years. And then last Thursday, we had an E470 meeting, and I think that you will see that as of about July the 1st, the speed limit's going to be posted at 75, unless something happens at our June 23rd meeting that causes that to change. But they're going to put up some new signs. It's going to cost about $5,000. They don't just put up new signs. They put up an overlay over the existing signs that'll say 75 instead of 70. They did a study that showed that 60% of the people who drive on E470 are driving over 70 anyway, and 15% are driving over 75. About 0.04% are driving over 90. Now, where were you, Mr. Baca, at the time this was occurring? I know. Part of it, we got 5 miles, but anyway, we've talked about who's going to be enforcing that. But they had, I think, out of all the cars they did in a week, they had 121 cars who were averaging 90 miles an hour on E470. But there have been a lot of complaints about the speed limit, and it is about to happen without any further action as of July the 1st. And I would remind everybody that if you have an E470 transponder, which in the near future is going to be about the size of a Band-Aid, you can park at the Canopy parking lot that the mayor was referring to for $6 a day, which is about $3 a day off. That's going to continue for a while, but that's a heck of a deal. $6 a day out there normally costs at least $9 a day. Right across the street at the USA parking, it'll cost $9 a day, but it'll charge the parking to your transponder. And so I think that was a great deal that we were. I was appointed to the operations committee on E470, and well, that's about it for my report for this week. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. McInerney? Before I go to you, did you have something you needed to add, sir?
I did just have something. I also wanted to offer my congratulations to you, Mr. Mayor, for the State of the City address, your last State of the City address. It was only my second State of the City, but I was surprised at the high turnout of residents at this last State of the City, and I thought that was really nice to see. So.
I'll start by saying I regret I was not able to make that due to some last-minute work obligations, but I hear it went well. So again, congratulations. I was able to attend, however, the District 27J State of the District held this last week. I think a good bit of the information is probably information that you heard when Mr. Lucero was here the week prior. I think the keys, just to kind of quickly summarize, every district in the state has been impacted by funding losses due to the economy. I actually just received my revised property tax statement today and saw a surprising decline in my assessed value, and that's going to have a ripple effect on funding for the district, the city, et cetera. When looking at 27J in particular, in 2010 they lost $2.2 million. This 2011 school year, $8.2 million, and for 2012 they're projecting another $2.3 million loss. When you summarize that, in contrast to, or in comparison to the increase in students, they've actually grown their student population by 8% and seen a decrease of roughly $10 million in that same time frame, not counting obviously the 2012 projected loss of 2.3%. The bottom line, I think, theme from Dr. Blanc was that the current model is not sustainable, and so the question remains how to fix it. What will they do? I think the comments that I heard from board members after the event were pretty consistent, consistent with what we heard from Dr. Blanc, which is focus on education, focus on the core responsibility of the district, which is to make sure that they're providing a good education to the students. We have done an abysmal job in the North Range and in the District of 27J in general over the past several years, literally since I moved into the community some 7 years ago, of caring for our kids. It is just unconscionable to me to look at where we sit relative to the rest of the state and the nation in funding for education. I think folks are well aware of the low rank Colorado holds for funding of education. And when you look at what 27J sees per student for funding, it's just mind-bending. My daughter will be transitioning into the school district this coming year. She's actually attended the Aurora Public School System with where my wife teaches. They actually managed to pass a bond last year, funded full-day kindergarten. But we are excited to bring her into the neighborhood school, not excited about the fact of funding. We are faced with a brand-new superintendent. I believe the announcement just came out this weekend. And our own Mr. Flannery was a member as both a parent and a representative of Commerce City in that review process. Dr. Chris Fiedler from Prairie View High School will be taking over responsibility as the superintendent. I would challenge anybody listening tonight who has a student in 27J or who doesn't have a student in 27J but lives in this city. We need to do something to support that school district. We need to fund more effectively the education of our children. We want all of these things for our community. We're not going to see Cummins come again. More of these businesses want to come in if we cannot fund the schools. You compare what 27J is doing with the dollars that they have, and it is absolutely unbelievable how well they're performing with the dollars that they have, the dollar for dollar, bang for the buck. But there is a limit, and that limit, I think, has been hit. So, again, contact your local school board member, contact the superintendent of the district, contact myself with questions. But I would challenge folks to put their thinking caps on and step up. It's time to figure out how to solve this problem.
Mr. Bullock?
Yes. There was an Arbor Day celebration last Saturday that was very sparsely attended, and that's because it was very cold last Saturday at 9 o'clock in the morning, and they had the tents and they had the chairs, but they didn't have any people. So I stood in the doorway of the rec center waiting for people to come, and when they didn't show up, I abandoned it too, but I was there in spirit. But the trees were given out inside the rec center, so everybody that was inside the rec center on Saturday got their choice of a tree, and a lot of people were really confused when the people at the front desk said, "Do you want a tree?" And yeah, I'd like to see a tree. Okay. Also, I was at the State of the City address last Tuesday, and that was very well attended. The time-to-time event yesterday. Next Saturday, I want everybody to remember that the pancake breakfast will be held at the rec center from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. And it's just really strange that Bobby isn't here no more to sell tickets, because that used to be, besides the pancake breakfast, we always knew that Bobby would come in to city council and say, "Okay, here I have tickets, buy them." And we would all buy them, and that would take that, but it was always well attended, and they usually sold out. The Bike and Trails Master Plan they had at the Contra Center last Tuesday. Me and Mr. Marino were at that, and the plans they have for bike trails and trails in this city are going to be just outstanding, but they don't come without a cost. And like the presentation we had last week from Roger, everything is coming with a cost, and we as a council have to figure out a way to pay for these to keep a quality community for a lifetime. And I want the citizens to be well aware, we are going to pay for them, and you will see bike trails, and you will see trails, and everything will connect, but it isn't going to happen overnight. but it's coming. And the I-70 meeting is this Wednesday, as Mr. Akers said, from 5:30 to 8:30 at the Rec Center. And it is a good time to go and give your input, even though it may not go offline on the 270. If it stays online on I-70, it's still going to impact us in some way, form, or fashion. Don't believe that it won't. We're close enough to it that it will. And even if it's just the extra traffic that gets diverted onto 270 when they're doing the construction on I-70, we will be impacted. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Last week, area boards met on Tuesday, and what came out of the area boards is the old high school, Adams City High School, is now for sale. They don't know whether they're going to be breaking up that health department building or what, but it actually is up for sale now. Also, the week of 5/23, when a few people are going to be away, the fire department's having a consultant in this week, and they're working on their master plan. So they're going to be looking for input from some of the council and some of the staff. So, Mr. Flannery, if you could make sure, because I know you're going to be at Accelerate Colorado that week, and Ms. Morris is going to be at ICSC, I believe. So to make sure that there are people that they can contact to get whatever information they're going to need for the fire department. I already talked about the tour for Canopy Parking. I really want to thank Ms. Bauer. She does so much work around the city, but what sometimes we forget to thank people for is the things they do outside of their normal business. Ms. Bauer worked with a few other people, and I'm not quite sure who else, but with some of the people, some of the young ladies at Adams 14 who probably would not have been able to go to the prom except for the program that Ms. Bauer put together to get them prom dresses. You know, that was above and beyond the call, and it so much speaks to your character. I just want to say thank you very much for doing that. Had a meeting with Metro North Chamber on Tuesday night. Wednesday, went to an executive forum with Ms. Morris and listened to somebody that used to work at Target tell us about how things really work in ED, which was a really kind of a fun one. A little rushed, but good information. Wednesday, also health and wellness, and the ADCOG dinner was in Bennett, which was... it just surprises me. When we go to Bennett, they have the biggest crowd of all the cities in Adams County. It is unbelievable. Thursday, Cummins got their award at the ACED luncheon at the merchandise. And then Friday was the CASA dinner that Mayor Pro Tem Snyder and I attended. What a great organization. And something that I didn't know is that the attorney that's in our courts during the daytime is on the board of CASA. Which was really interesting, because I didn't know that. You know, here's one more person who's above and beyond the call to duty, does something outside of what's expected of them. I want to again thank Ms. Snyder for standing in for me this weekend so that I could go to my son's third-degree black belt test, which he did phenomenal on. I'm just going to go through the calendar real fast. Let's see. Habitat for Humanities. It's the 7100 block of Ivanhoe. Is that yours, Mr. Marino? Is that Ivanhoe is yours? Or okay. They're doing their first one tomorrow from 5:30 to 6:30 for that whole stretch. It's also a planning commission meeting. Thursday is the Metro North Day of Prayer breakfast. Thursday the 5th at 7:30 Business and Professionals, and at 7 p.m. is the 9th annual Cinco de Mayo concert. Let's see what else. May 11th from 9:30 to 10:30, Grant Awards ceremony at the new county building, and we will be collecting some money. The 13th of May, if you haven't heard, and this would be a good one, I know you're probably going to be there, is the 14er Fest, and it's again downtown at the Sherman Street Event Center, which is good. May 19th, 9:30, Douglas Colony Group ribbon cutting on 58th, and let's see, May 30th, please put this on your calendar. It's our Memorial Day Parade. It's the largest Memorial Day Parade in the state. And so we need to be there. What was the date on the other one, June 2nd?
June 2nd.
Okay, June 2nd. I know that's a little far out, but council, please, it's a Thursday night from 6 to 7:30, and it's a joint meeting between Commerce City and Brighton. If there's any way to get to that one, please do it. This weekend here at the park is the Autism Speaks event, and I know Ms. Snyder's supposed to stand in for me. It's also the Pancake Breakfast, and it's also the 50th anniversary of Boys and Girls Club. And that reminds me, where are we on, will that be at our meeting that day to talk about Boys and Girls Club also? Okay. Then that answers that. If there be no further business, Ms. Bullock. Uh-oh, what'd I forget? Oh, yes. Tomorrow at 11 o'clock. $35, and it's at Buffalo Run, and I'll be speaking at that also. If there be no further business to come before this board, whoa, let's go home.